It's me again. Okay, a lot's happened. You guys are amazing. Your thoughts, your prayers, putting just our family name on the temple roll, prayer roll, sorry, has just been heartfelt. Okay, here's the deal. Our little 4-year-old granddaughter, her name is Jane, and I'll just say that because I don't feel comfortable saying the full name. You know, me, I could care less, but anyway, protect her, right? Little Jane has been diagnosed with leukemia, but it's yesterday was one of the most frustrating days for me. So I was the grandpa, Dad was at work, and I went with my daughter and granddaughter to actually I've gone to 2 different hospitals since I've been here. And the pressure to just immediately go into chemo has been just amazing. She had blood transfusion last night because her hemoglobin was low. But she looks and acts pretty good. You know, it's hard to digest it all, but there's obviously something going on. There's no question. Now, I know there are more natural remedies and medicines, and our daughter has pursued that earlier. By earlier, there was some swelling of lymph nodes here, lymph glands here, and in the arm area, and that's what kind of triggered this whole thing, looking into it again. So I'm using this platform, and I will pin my email address. I don't like to do that necessarily, but I'm going to do it for this. If you have had experience with child leukemia and other alternative remedies, treatments, I would love to hear those and pass them on to my daughter. But I would like it to be specific to that. I know there's so many good people that have gone other directions with other kinds of cancer. But we're looking for maybe some of you that have had a child, a grandchild that is, or a family, you know, friend that didn't go the route of chemo. That's all they're saying. This is it, this is it, this is it. It's interesting that chemo's been around since like the 40s or 50s, you know, and they haven't come up with anything better. It's like, dang. Look, being a grandparent is like it's like the greatest thing and the most frustrating thing, because at some point you want to take the bull by the horns and say, this is the way things are going to work. And you can't, you know, a mother and a father will leave, or, excuse me, a husband and wife will leave their parents. But I mean, that's scriptural. It's their decision and they've got to figure it out. And I get that. But my daughter asked if I would do this. And I said, absolutely, I'll reach out. So specific to young children dealing with leukemia. Now, I know there's 2 types of, well, there's more than 2 types, but there's 2 main types of leukemia. Can't remember. There was some initials. And one, the treatment is for 2.5 years, pretty much for 9 months every week, having a treatment of chemo. And then after that, it tapers down. But for 2.5 years, their immune system is shot to heck. You're killing all the fast-growing cells. You know, that's when you start looking like this. Maybe I've had chemo. I don't know. No, this is not joking. Okay, I'm sorry. But you could look, our granddaughter could look like this, and now she has, you know, pretty hair, but because hair is a fast-growing cell for most people, not for this person. Anyway, so if they're for the next few days, they're going to weigh their options. And again, they've already been in touch with somebody that they trust and really like, that is, you know, more on the homeopathic, natural remedies, which I think is awesome. I have no problem with that. So anyway, young child diagnosed with leukemia and alternative treatments to chemo. If you don't mind emailing those to me, and I'll put my email in a comment in the comment section, and I'll pin it, so it'll be the first there. We would appreciate it, and then I'll pass those on to my daughter and her husband, and they can go from there. We're here to support and help any way we can. I wanted to talk first off. Look, I'm optimistic about this. I'm not. There's so many other things out there that could be so much worse. We're blessed. We're a blessed family, and God blesses us in so many different ways. And one of the big blessings is you all you all. That's the plural for y'all, is all you all. I'm learning things in Texas here. So you guys are fantastic. Okay, I want to cover just a couple of things aside from this situation we're in as a family. Let me tell you, these doctors, this lady doctor comes in, this was last night, and, you know, you really got to get your daughter doing this. And my daughter is saying, well, you know, we're here to get the blood transfusion, and then we'll decide, you know, get the hemoglobin up, and then we'll decide. And she said, well, let me just tell you, this is serious. And your daughter, if going untreated by chemo, your daughter has 1 to 4 weeks to live. Just like that, just dropped it. I was sitting there, I said 1 to 4 weeks, and then I just kind of like, and my daughter was like, well, that doesn't make sense, because this has been going on since May, and she's done really well on other things, you know. We even use Cardio Miracle in smaller doses, and she's, you know, she's responded. But, you know, my daughter's not like irresponsible. She loves her children dearly, and so does her husband. And so when the lymph had swollen, they went, oh, you know, we better check it out. Well, immediately they just want to do blood work, right? Anyway, I don't know. I got to get off that. Okay, so this meteor, remember that Chris Farley skit where everything's in quotes, and I'm not, you know, anyway, I feel like I'm a Chris Farley skit right now. But this meteor, okay, so I'm just checking news sources, you know, trying to stay up on things all the time, and I don't believe too much of what I hear and read, but there's a few sources that I like. But anyway, last week, didn't give a real date, but it was in California. It gave a time of 12 something, you know, Pacific time. But they launched a ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile. These are missiles that can travel to other continents, right? And the purpose is to deliver a warhead, a nuclear warhead. Typically, that's what these ICBMs are. And the article said that it was the Air Force, and that they were testing it And it should have been tested earlier, but they didn't want to ruffle China's feathers while Nancy Pelosi was there by testing it as if, you know, we're showing you how strong we are in our missiles. So they backed off and waited till for little sweet Nancy to come home, and then they tested it. Well, it did enter the atmosphere. It has to return. So they send it off, surface to air. And then, you know, to be honest, I don't know how high elevation they go, but I imagine they make quite a noise when they come back. So my thought is this could easily have been something like that. It's so weird because don't we, when we're talking about meteors, don't they know where those are, and don't they see them and can say, yeah, on this particular day, you know, you might see a meteor. I know it's that way with comets, but I thought it was that way. I'm sorry, I have something hanging here. I know it's with comet, but I think there's meteors that they can check. So for this one to just like, and the news report was so quick to say a meteor, that's another suspicion I have about all this. So I think it was an ICBM. There you go. Okay, now on a scriptural religious note, spiritual. I've talked about this a long time ago, but you know, when we go through trials, we're tested, and you know, we think of these things. And at one point I thought differently of this. I'm going to refer to two scriptures that have the word trial in them. You know these scriptures. It's one of my favorite all-time chapters. I say that about virtually every chapter in the Book of Mormon, but Ether 12, we all have to admit, is pretty amazing. But First Peter, I'm going to start in First Peter, however, and then I'll go to Ether 12. So, got to get the glasses on here. These are my tiny scriptures I bring when I travel. I don't like traveling with my big scriptures, so I'm in 1 Peter chapter 1. 1 Peter chapter 1. The trial, let me start in verse 6. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 6. Wherein ye greatly rejoice through now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness, through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than gold, that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Jesus Christ. Now, I love this because we can think of the trial of our faith as a test, but I like to think of it as a court of law, and your faith is on trial, and you're going to call your witnesses, and you're going to express your guilt or innocence as far as your faith in Christ. And so you're going to call up your witnesses, you're going to call up your testimony, you're going to state how you feel. And at the culmination of that, I envision that Christ himself will say, I'm here for you. I'm your key witness. I'm your advocate. And I will convince the judge that you're mine. That's how I like to look at it. And it's the trial that's more precious than gold. Not faith. Not faith in Christ is more precious than gold, but the trial. Because this is where we get to declare. This is where we get to stand in the witness chair. This is where we raise our hand and say, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God? Yes, yes. and I just got goosebumps. So this is where we get to declare that in front of everybody, and then Christ comes as our key witness and declares that we are his and he is ours. That's one thought there. Now, we'll go to Ether 12 and look at that. And now I, Moroni, this is Ether 12, verse 6. And now I, Moroni, would speak somewhat concerning these things. I would show unto the world that faith is things which are hoped for and not seen. Okay? So we have some really good scriptures on faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I think that's in Hebrews, I believe. And then we have, faith is not to have a perfect knowledge of things. Therefore, if you have faith, you hope for things which are not seen, which are true. Hopefully that's right. That's in Alma 32, right? And this confirms that. So it's like three witnesses of this idea of not being able to see something, but know that it's there, or have an assurance. Maybe assurance is a better way to look at it. And now I, Moroni, would speak somewhat concerning these things. I would show unto the world that faith is things which are hoped for and not seen. Wherefore, dispute not because ye see not, for ye receive no witness until after the trial of your faith. The witness, in my opinion, is Jesus Christ. You receive no witness, as Peter said. You're looking forward to the coming of God, of Christ. Christ manifest. And you don't receive him as a witness until after the hearing, after the trial. So it's just another way to look at it. I get that we go through trials, and I'm not saying we don't. And that's definitely one of the definitions, but I like to think of it as a court of law. And our last and our final and our most convincing and our star witness is Jesus Christ. Love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your prayers, your fasting, your thoughts, your comments. My daughters read them. My wife, Susie's read them. We're all just overwhelmed by your goodness and mercy, and you know, things will just continue. Life moves on. I know this isn't anything compared to what so many of you have gone through, and so your steadfastness in Christ through your hearing, your trial, has really buoyed us up. And yeah, everything's going to work out. Everything's going to work out. But we would be very, very interested in hearing some alternative options there that some of you might have gone through. And let's keep it specific to leukemia in a child. Okay? All right. Love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and God bless.